Welcome back, MTN Giants podcast. I know it's early to do a preview. I usually do mine on Friday or Saturday, but it's Wednesday. It's the new year, so happy new year to you guys. But I figured since I have off today, why not do it today? You know, I know some stuff may change from now to Friday, but we already got news that the Eagles plan to sit most of their starters, so I think we pretty much know where this is heading. The Giants have a real chance to go from, at last week at this point, the first overall pick, and starting 2-13 to dropping all the way down to like 9 or 10. It'd be the most Giants thing ever. It really would. To dangle 2-13, first overall pick, right in our faces, to winning the last two games of the season, two meaningless games, and dropping down to like the 9th or 10th pick, and being the most quarterback needy team in the NFL. So obviously I'd be very disappointed if they won this week, but I'm kind of expecting it. I'm going into it not getting my hopes up. I'm just going to try and be, I guess, cautiously optimistic, I guess is the best way to put it, because they are still underdogs in this game, but with the Eagles playing like Tanner McKee and maybe only like a few starters, it's going to be tough for them to win this game probably, and the Giants coming off their best game probably since like the end of 2022, since they had that game versus the Colts when they clinched a playoff spot. It's been a long time since they played that well. I guess maybe the Vikings playoff game, because that was technically after, but you know what I mean, it's been a long time since they played at that kind of a level. And as I've kept up with the spread throughout the week, it's been dropping. I feel like it started out as Eagles -4. Now it's down to Eagles -2.5. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely concerned about this. And I don't know why the Eagles aren't playing anybody. As I've said before, it's weird because Jalen Hurts has not played since the first quarter of week 16, and now we're through week 17. This is week 18, and then of course starts the wild card round where the Eagles will be playing. And it's like, do you really want Jalen Hurts going almost 3 full games without, or 3 full weeks without playing in a game, and then throw him out there in the playoffs? I mean, I don't know. It's not my decision, but I'm a little surprised by it. And we know Saquon Barkley is like a little over 100 yards away from breaking the single season rushing record, which would have been kind of funny to see that happen against the Giants, but it looks like the Giants will not have that happen, as Saquon Barkley is reportedly going to sit out this game. If I were Saquon, I'd want this because A, it's against the Giants, which would be awesome, and B, it's probably never going to happen again for him. Like, I highly doubt Saquon's ever going to have a season this great again. So it's almost like this is your one chance to do it. I know there's a chance of getting injured in this game and whatnot, but still, this is big. Like, you can put your name in the record books, and it's your first year on a new team. I just feel like he should get it, but I also understand why he wouldn't get it, and it's probably not his decision anyway. And speaking of not being his decision anyway to play, I do want to talk about that for a second. So the Giants apparently are going to go into this game with really nobody else like sitting out, which I still don't understand. You already made a mistake last week of playing guys you should not be playing, and I know like there's arguments going out there about teams don't tank. Teams do tank. I mean, you can't really lie to yourself and say that. There's a team right now currently playing Dorian Thompson-Robinson over Jameis Winston. We know who the better quarterback is, yet the Browns are still playing the much worse quarterback. There was also the Brian Flores thing, where he came out and said that the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross was apparently offering him $100,000 for every game he was losing in 2019. Like, they wanted him to throw games. Of course, he was the former Dolphins head coach. And we even saw the Eagles do it, putting in Nate Sudfeld for Jalen Hurts back in 2020. Teams do tank, so don't lie to yourselves about that. The thing I don't get is the rookies have their 1,000 yards. They held up the piece of paper. They signed it, right? They got the pictures. They got the publicity. But they're still going to play Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy in this game, which I don't understand at all. They should not have played last week. If anything, they should have played a half because they got their 1,000 yards in the first half, and they should have benched them in the second half and lost to the Colts and did everything right. But to play them in this game is even worse. It's even more egregious. You have Drew Lock, who, as I've said before, had that shoulder MRI a couple weeks ago, or it was last Monday, I think it was. Yeah, before the Colts game. So you're still going to play him. I'm sure Brian Burns will find a way to play. I just don't get it. There's no reason to win this game. It just hurts. It hurts, if anything. People keep talking about culture and shit like that. The Giants win late games every year, and still they've started 2 or 6 or worse in 5 of the past 6 seasons. So clearly these late season wins have nothing to do with culture and carrying over to the next year, because the Giants find a way to win 1 or 2 meaningless games every December, but they start out the year 2-6 or worse every year just about. So it's like, all right, these culture wins are clearly not doing anything for you. If I'm the Giants, if I'm Joe Shane or John Mara, I'm sitting out Neighbors, I'm sitting out Tracy, I'm sitting out Drew Lock, I'm playing DeVito. Put freaking Smith Marset at wide receiver, Bryce Ford Wheaton. I don't care. Find any way to lose this game. It just does not make any sense. You're the most quarterback needy team in the NFL right now. You already effed up the first pick. You're down to 4th now. There's a chance you get 3rd if the Titans find a way to win, which I think right now they're like 1-point favorites, so I'm not counting on that. But you have a chance to go from 4th, where if they still are at 4, if they lose this game versus the Eagles, I still think there's a very realistic chance they end up with Ward or Sanders. But if they fall to 9, you're looking at a situation where it's like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. There was obviously the Bears-Panthers trade from a couple years ago, which led the Panthers to get Bryce Young, where for a team to get from 9th overall to 1st overall, which I think is where kind of our minds would be at if the Giants were to, God forbid, win this game on Sunday, the amount that the Panthers had to move to get from 9 to 1 was insane. It was DJ Moore, who at the time was like 25-26, a wide receiver 1, great player, the 9th overall pick, of course, number 61 overall. Then on top of that, a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 second-round pick, just to move from 9 to 1. So that's why like the win last week really irks me, because they didn't have to give up anything. Now if they have to go from 4 to 1, or even, God forbid, 9 to 1, this is the cost. A great player. In the Giants' case, it's probably Kayvon would go to the Patriots, which Kayvon's not great, but he's still like a young player under contract for, I think, 2 more years or 1 more year and the 5th-year option. So it's like a talented young player. Then you have the 9th overall pick, a late 2nd-round pick, a 1st-round pick next year, a 2nd-round pick the year after that. Like, it's just crazy. And all they had to do was lose these last 2 games, which they should have, and now they're not. And I know that the players are going to try. I get that. Coaches are going to try, but it comes from up top, right? John Mara, if he was an owner that actually had any type of foresight and really cared about the best interest of this team, he would have told Joe Shane to sit out the players I just mentioned before. Locke, Neighbors, Tracy, and Brian Burns. Now, I understand the 1,000 yards thing. If I was Malik Neighbors, I'd be pissed, and I'd want that myself, and same for Tyrone Tracy. Although I don't think scrimmage yards matters as much as receiving yards, but still. My point is, they broke that record. They got their 1,000 yards in the 2nd quarter. They could have sat them at halftime, right? So it clearly, like, they got their 1,000 yards, but you continued to just keep pushing and try and get that win. And now we see where we're at. And now there's rumors of the Patriots sitting out Drake May. Oh, teams don't tank though, right? Yeah, teams don't tank. But apparently the Patriots are going to sit Drake May in the final game of the year because they know the Bills are probably going to rest their starters after like the first drive or 2. So it's like, oh, the Patriots, let's be a smart organization and not chance giving up the 1st overall pick. Let's play Jacoby Brissett over our talented young quarterback. And the crazy part is, the Patriots don't need a quarterback. We do. We need the most important position, but the Patriots will probably bench Drake May because they want to make sure they lose that game. It just irks me so much. They do this every year to us, and I got into it with Carl Banks yesterday. Obviously, I respect Carl Banks. He's a former player, and he was a really good player, but he definitely shills for this organization. He definitely is a mouthpiece for the Giants, and I get it. You're a company man. You have to say what you have to say, and I'll put the conversation me and Carl had up on the screen here, but for those listening on the podcast, basically, Carl Banks was saying, cool, tell Malik Neighbors, Brian Burns, Drew Phillips, Jermaine Illuminor, and many others. Basically saying that those guys wanted to change the culture. They're playing through injuries, and I get it. So I replied to Carl. I said, here's how you fix it. You put Drew Lock, Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy, Brian Burns on IR. And then 4 months later, with the 1st overall pick of the 2025 draft, the New York Giants select, and they obviously had their shot at getting that 1st overall pick. And then Carl responded, thankfully, those players thought enough of the fans, you, and their teammates to go out there and fight for the W. And then I replied, you know what'd be nice? Those same players caring about winning for the fans when it mattered back in September and October. But no, let's start 2-6 or worse in 5 of the past 6 seasons, get fans' hopes up about getting the 1st overall pick or getting a franchise quarterback, and crush their hopes with meaningless wins. To which Carl did not reply, because how can you reply to that? And as I said, it's not even about the players. I hate that people try to kind of lecture you like you're a 5-year-old, like, players don't tank. Oh, thanks. I didn't know that. Yeah, players, obviously, yeah, they're going to go out there and lay down, of course. I definitely thought that. No. The tanking comes from up top. Joe Shane or John Mara, they're the ones that should be tanking. But clearly they did not. They really wanted to go out there and win on Sunday. And maybe it works out. Maybe Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward both suck and we look back on this and laugh about it. But right now, sitting in the moment, I'm like, how did this happen? The first thing I said to myself when I woke up Monday morning was, I cannot believe those assholes won yesterday. That was my first thought. I mean, honestly, I'm sure some of you guys felt the same way. And now there's already news reports from, the Giants beat writers coming out and saying that the Giants really want to stay the course with Brian Daboll and Joe Shane. Patricia Traina had a article released about it yesterday on December 31st. Then also there was another one released by Paul Schwartz. We know he's a big John Mara mouthpiece. And the Schwartz article said, if the Giants wanted to tank for the number 1 pick, they could have told Malik Neighbors to sit this one out, which once again, they should have. He played, he soared, and they won. No victory should be discounted if it boosts the psyches of the players who will be part of 2025. You know what the easiest comeback to this is? Hey, Malik Neighbors, do you want to be catching passes from Shedeur Sanders next year or Justin Fields? Because that's probably where we're at. If the Giants fall to the 9th pick or something, who's going to be quarterback here next year? I actually do have a video coming out about that of ranking quarterbacks that are available. But Justin Fields is a very valid name for who could be the Giants quarterback next year. And I know a lot of this fan base does not want Justin Fields. For me personally, if it came down to that and we couldn't get Ward or Sanders, I don't mind Justin Fields. He's 25, 26 and has upside. I get it. And he actually won games with the Steelers. He's just not a great passer. So Malik Neighbors, cool. You got him this win in week 16 or 17 of a 2-13 season. It's going to affect him way more if he doesn't get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders and they end up being really great passing quarterbacks. So it's just, once again, it's like a short-term victory, but these people have no foresight whatsoever. Yeah, it feels good right now. It feels great. Yeah, you won a game finally. Yay, we don't go winless at home this year. But it matters about what's next year and the year after that and the year after that. No one's going to care about this win next year. Clearly, we saw it happen this season. No one cared about the Tommy DeVito 3-game win streak. The Giants still started out this year 1-7 or whatever they were. These culture wins, quote unquote, don't carry over. They don't. All they do is F you over. So anyway, yeah, about the Eagles-Giants game, I know Tanner McKee is somewhat of a talented pocket passer out of Stanford. I know certain people liked him in college, Mike Renner liked him a lot. He did look good versus the Cowboys, but it wasn't that many throws. He did have that nice back shoulder to A.J. Brown for a touchdown. But the Eagles are smart. Howie Roseman is a very forward-thinking guy. He will lose this game on purpose if it comes down to it. Just to really F over the Giants. He will do that. I'm sure Howie Roseman, who plays in the same division as the Giants, does not want to see the Giants lose a meaningless game and end up getting Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward and have them ending up being great quarterbacks. Because that is detrimental to the Eagles, who play in the same division as the Giants. If the Giants win this game, then that's great news for Howie Roseman. That's one less team you have to worry about in this 4-team division. At that point, your only worry is the Commanders, who are on the come-up, and Dallas if they can get their shit together, which I don't know if they can. But if you let the Giants win this game, which I'm sure Howie Roseman would do if it came down to it, then yeah, the Giants are with Justin Fields. Are the Eagles going to fear a Justin Fields-led team next year? Probably not. So anyway, yeah, I expect the Giants to win this game. I do. I hate to say it, but I'm going into it not getting my hopes up. I just feel like I'm going to just accept that they're going to have the 9th overall pick, and that's going to be it. Or 10th overall, maybe, I think it can fall to. Just a damn shame. I just hate the way that, the mouthpieces for the organization talk about it, the Paul Schwartzes and the Carl Banks. They talk about these wins like they mean something and that they're good, and they're clearly not. We've seen it time after time again. I really thought after last year and how last year played out that people would finally get it. I know there'd be that 1% out there that's oh, I like winning meaningless games. But I really thought that most people with a brain would get that winning these games is bad. Especially after seeing how good Jaden Daniels looks or how good Drake May looks. I really thought people would get it. But I guess I'm naive. We still sit here after that stupid 3-game win streak with the Cutlets boy last year that cost us Jaden Daniels or Drake May. People still are happy that the Giants won last week. It's they don't get it. And I know that this quarterback class is not as good as last year's. That's a big part of it. But still, you're the most quarterback-needy team in the NFL. So I'm not going to spend much time talking about this game and who's going to play. We don't know who's going to play right now. It's Wednesday, whatever. I just expect the Giants to win the game. I hope Tanner McKee goes out there and has a 300-yard game, is not sacked, and has 3 touchdowns and looks great, and we don't have to worry about this game. I really hope it's over by halftime. I don't want to sweat this out. But just knowing the Giants and how they operate and how they continuously F over fans, I just expect them to win this game. So I hate to say it, but I feel like it's going to go down like that. They just released the Eagles injury report, and it is rough for us. Guys that did not practice are Saquon, Mekhi Becton, which I think he's actually hurt, A.J. Brown, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Kenny Pickett, Darius Slay, Devontae Smith, Josh Sweat. Guys that were limited with rest: Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata, and Quinyon Mitchell. Will Shipley has a concussion, Nolan Smith with rest. Nakobe Dean and Bryce Huff practice in full. Not that Bryce Huff's been that good this year anyway, but we have that going for us. But yeah, I mean, this is just this is bad. I don't see how the Giants are able to lose this game Sunday. Hate to say it, but then again, I'm probably just coping, so we'll see. I do think the Eagles can win, but it just feels like they're doing everything in their power to not win that game. So on the spread picks, last week it did not go great. Last week, not great, as I said. Started out okay, and I got screwed on this Denver one. If that kicker just made the field goal for Cincinnati, I think it's Katie York, definitely would have won that spread. But teams like the Jets, Tennessee, the Saints, definitely. The Colts, hate the Colts. Dallas lost by a lot. Carolina lost by a lot. So, yeah, we're down to 118, 111, and 6 on the year. So, I guess if there's not a big collapse this week, I'll finish above 500. But this is a tough week. This probably has to be the toughest spread pick week of the year because we're not sure, especially for how early we are in the week of who's going to play, who's not. But let's go to the Browns and Ravens on Saturday. Ravens favored by 17.5. It's tough for the Browns to score. They're going to go all out to lose this game. The Ravens do have something to play for. I think it's like their seeding. Well, maybe the division too. I'm trying to think. The Steelers have been losing a lot lately. The Steelers have 10 wins. So yeah, they do have to win this game and hope that if they win this game, they clinch their division. But if the Ravens lose, I guess there's a chance the Steelers can take the North. So anyway, I'll take Baltimore minus 17.5. I obviously hope that the Browns win this game. It just feels impossible. They're tanking the correct way with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, so I'm not getting my hopes up. Bengals, Steelers, a good game here for Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Cincinnati by 1.5. This feels like a game that the Bengals will blow for some reason. I think the Steelers would like to get this win, especially if the Ravens lose, which they won't. So I'm trying to see. We have the Ravens at the 3rd seed, and then you have the Steelers at the 5. And I don't think there's a way for the Steelers to be out of the playoffs. Yeah, they already clinched. So maybe if the Ravens win, they won't really go too hard. So you know what? I'll just take the Bengals minus 1.5. Why not? They at least have something to play for. It's only 1.5. So yeah, I'll take the Bengals here minus 1.5. Panthers at Falcons. Falcons by 8. There is still a way for the Falcons to make the playoffs, but it's not likely. I think the Buccaneers have to lose to the Saints. Carolina's looked very bad recently. I do like what I've seen from Penix. 8 points is a lot though. So I will take the Panthers here. Panthers plus 8 for me. It's just an in-division game, too many points, and rookie quarterbacks, so you never know. Commanders at Cowboys. Commanders by 4.5. The Cowboys have looked pretty bad the past 2 weeks. It looks like if the Commanders win, they'll have a good shot at playing the Rams, and if the Commanders lose, I know it's like not on the screen here, sorry about that, but if the Commanders lose, there's a chance they fall to the 7 seed and have to play the Eagles in the wild card round. So it's really up to them. Do they want to play the Eagles or do they want to play the Rams? I'd rather play the Rams personally. So I'm assuming the Commanders will try to win this game. I'll take Commanders by 4.5 on the road. Bears at Packers. Packers are favorites by 10 points. Now, if the Commanders were to lose and the Packers were to win, the Packers would then face the Rams. But if not, then it looks like the Packers will be in Philadelphia for a wild card weekend, which I think would be a good matchup. I kind of hope that happens. Anyway, I will take the Packers here by 10. I just don't like what I've seen from the Bears for a while now. They have not won since that lost Hail Mary game. They've lost like 10 games in a row. It's crazy. Jaguars at Colts. It's Colts by 5. The Jaguars have played pretty well recently. The Colts, their season's over now, as we know. So you know what? I'll just take the Jaguars here. Jaguars plus 5 for me. I think it might be Flacco again. There's like this Anthony Richardson back spasms thing I'm a little concerned about. So I'll take the Jags here plus 5. Bills at Patriots. Patriots playing for that first overall pick. I will say Bills minus 2.5. They're going to start Josh Allen to keep up his consecutive start streak, which I think is the right thing to do, but I'm sure he won't play for long. But still, I think the Bills win this one. I think Mitch Trubisky still plays there, so he might have a good game. We'll see. So I'll take the Bills here -2.5 on the road. Giants at Eagles, I will just cope and take the Giants here +2.5. I just think it's possible that the Giants win this game, so I think I will take the Giants here, although I do hope to be very wrong about that. Saints at Buccaneers, Tampa Bay by 13.5. I mean, Tampa does have games where they'll randomly choke, but I just think they've looked very good recently. Ever since that disappointing Cowboys loss, they've beat the crap out of a couple teams. So I think I'll take Tampa Bay -13.5. The Saints are so beat up, and I just don't see how they win a game or even come close. So Tampa there for me. Texans at the Titans. Houston by 1 now on the road. It was Titans by 3 originally, and then the Texans said they're going to play some of their guys for a bit, so now it's the Texans as favorites. So I guess as cope, once again, I will take the Texans. Of course, the Giants need the Titans to lose this game. Or to win this game, sorry. So I think I'll just take the Texans because I feel like that's going to be the most likely outcome. We'll see some Davis Mills. He's not horrible, I guess, so I think there's a chance he wins that game. 49ers at Cardinals, a Josh Dobbs revenge game. I think I will take the 49ers. I think it's possible they win this game. I'm sure Dobbs is wanting another opportunity to play after his little insanity run last year. So yeah, I'll take the Niners here, +4.5. By the way, I saw that Shanahan is safe with the Niners, so any Giants fan that had a dream about him going to the Giants, it's probably not going to happen. Chiefs at Broncos. It's Chiefs +10.5. Broncos favored by over 10 here. Broncos, of course, have to win this game. If they win, they're in. But I wouldn't sleep on the Chiefs. You know, it's Carson Wentz, and if I'm a Giants fan, I would watch out for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is definitely a guy who I think is now 32. But he's a guy that I think deserves a chance to play somewhere. Of course, behind Mahomes, there's no chance. Of course, he was behind Stafford last year. So not much playing time for him, but I think Wentz is not that bad. So I'll take the Chiefs here +10.5. There's no incentive for the Chiefs to lose. They just want to be smart and bench their star players. So yeah, give me the Chiefs. Seahawks at Rams at Seattle, -6.5. The Rams are benching their guys. I think the Seahawks have to win this game. Actually, no, the Seahawks got eliminated, so I'm wrong about that. But Seattle, they'll just play their guys anyway. So I think I'll take the Rams. I mean, it's Rams +6.5. They are home. The Seahawks have nothing to play for. The Rams are resting their guys, but Jimmy Garoppolo's not terrible, so I think the Rams have a chance to keep it close. So Rams +6.5. Chargers at Raiders, it's Chargers -5. The Chargers, I guess if the Steelers lose, there's a chance the Chargers jump up a spot, and I guess even if the Texans lose, oh no, they're a division winner, so never mind. But yeah, there's a chance they just overtake the Steelers for the 5th seed, so I guess with that said, I'll take the Chargers because I'm assuming that the Steelers lose, but I could be wrong. But if the Steelers win, then maybe it changes how the Chargers look at this game. So anyway, for right now at least, I'll take the Chargers -5 on the road. Dolphins at Jets. I think that by this point at 425, the Dolphins will know what happened. Actually, no, they won't because they care about the Broncos outcome. So yeah, they'll still play their guys, Miami. So I guess I'll take Miami by 1. I think there's a chance the Jets win. I think it's definitely possible, but I think Miami has way more to play for, so I'll take Dolphins here by a point. Big game, Vikings at Lions. Winner gets the 1 seed, a loser gets the 5 seed. That 1 seed and the lone bye is definitely big. Right now it's Detroit -2.5. The Lions defense looks so bad recently with all the injuries, so I feel like I've been anti-Vikings a lot this year. It's been taking me a while to buy in. But I'm going to take Minnesota here. I think Minnesota wins this game. They're a +2.5. I think there's a very good chance they could win this one. I'm still waiting for Sam Darnold to turn back into a pumpkin, but he looks very good, so I can't really expect that to happen at this point. Just crazy that this Vikings team is 14-2. Even the Lions to be 14-2 is very impressive. So definitely a must-watch game there. But I'll go Vikings here +2.5. So anyway, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the little tanking rant in the beginning of the video and the spread picks and all that, but I really hope that when I talk to you guys next time, it's the Giants with the 3rd overall pick. I don't really see them getting much higher, but if the Titans can win, which is possible, and the Giants lose, which I think is possible, the Giants get to the 3rd spot, that'd be big, so I just hope that when I'm talking to you guys Sunday night, the Giants are picking at number 3, but I'm expecting the worst, and they'll probably be picking number 9 or 10. So let's hope I'm wrong and that I'm coping, but we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time.